right, so today we are talking about Apple WWDC 2025. And honestly, I don't know how long I want to talk about this for because, to be honest, it wasn't too much content, to be honest. They obviously strung it out for a long time because they always do. But in terms of like the content, it didn't seem like too much. There was some good stuff, but overall, just kind of felt like, I mean, there was no device launches or anything, so, I mean, that's the stuff I care about. Yeah, there's a bunch of software stuff, which, I mean, I'm terrible with software stuff, so, yeah, there's that. Anyways, let's get into it, shall we? First off, Liquid Glass, the new OS. Yeah, I think it's going to be a cool feature, honestly. They were talking about it a lot and how the UI elements, or like some of them, like the clock and stuff, would like morph to your backgrounds and stuff, like tuck behind faces and stuff like that, which that's pretty cool, I'll admit. But the one I'm really interested in is the layers on the apps. I saw a bunch of like rumors and stuff like a few months ago saying how the apps were going to be circular, and I was really hoping that wasn't going to be the case because I like the rounded squares we have now, to be honest. And I'm glad that's true. I'm glad that it's false rather. It's gonna stay with the current shapes of the apps, and it's gonna apparently have layers to them. I'm assuming not all apps are immediately going to have that because they never do. It's going to be the Apple exclusive apps, or not exclusive, rather the default apps, I should say, will have that layer effect. And yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool to look at. And yeah, hopefully they don't mess it up too bad to where it looks terrible. Because sometimes I notice this with like some like cheaper apps, or like not cheaper apps, but cheaply made apps, I should say. Sometimes I've noticed they try and go way overboard with making things look fancy, and then it ends up looking really tacky. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but I have faith because, Apple usually kills it on the software. They also introduced a lot more like designs for apps, I guess you could say. How we got like dark mode apps and light mode apps and like tints for apps and stuff in the design. They've introduced a lot more of those, so that's pretty cool. But of course, me being the nostalgic person I am, I wish they would bring back older ones. Give us back iOS 6 look, please. Even just a skin. It's all I need. I don't want it to be the whole thing because I think the new ones look good. However, I think it would also be really cool if you could select iOS 6 skins just, as default and stuff. And I'm going to guess that a reason they don't do that is because the apps aren't high enough resolution, like the older app icons. And, I mean, I could understand if that were the case, but honestly, I think it'd still be cool to have. I really do. Just go back to that classic look because I love it. I really do. And I know I'm probably one of the only people in the world who wants that, but I could keep dreaming, right? And I know I'm not going to bind all my apps to shortcuts because it's just kind of sloppy. I don't know. I don't want to take the time to do all that. So, but yeah, that's cool. New app design. They say it's going to be their biggest iOS update since iOS 7, which I can completely believe. And they're basing it very heavily off of the Vision Pro OS. Or is it Vision OS? Yeah, I think it's Vision OS is what they're basing it on. So that would be cool. Anyways, on to Mac OS. And I guess the rest of the OSs as well, because they're obviously going to get the same sort of like liquid glass treatment. And a big change is happening, actually. They're going to stop going up in numbers, and they're going to start using the year as the version number. So we're going to jump from, like, what are we on? iOS 18 to iOS 25. And we're going to jump to, from macOS, what is it, 15 now, to 25, and so on and so forth for each one. The funniest one, of course, being Vision OS, because I think that's only on 3, so it's going from 3 to 25, which is crazy. But overall, pretty cool stuff. Speaking of Mac stuff, they're going to hide the toolbar up at the top, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I can't wait to see how that integrates, because I'm sure it's actually going to be pretty cool on MacBook Pros, like newer ones with the notch. It's going to look nice. I was about to say it probably won't look as nice on other ones, but actually thinking about it now, it will probably look all right all around. I don't think notch is going to matter too much, because I think just having that area up there clear anyway is going to be nice. But what do I know, honestly, because my iMac Pro, I am so sad because I guarantee you it's not getting this update. I love that thing so much. Oh my gosh. I love the iMac Pro, and it's on the current version, but as of now, it is currently the device that has had the most amount of macOS updates available for it. They started back in, I want to say, Mojave. Because it was right before Catalina, because technically you could run 32-bit apps on it with Mojave. And now they're up to current version. So, yeah, it's been quite a while of iMac Pro updates. But I do still have a MacBook Pro with an M1 in it, so I'm sure that'll get the update. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of kill off Intel devices completely for this update, except for Mac Pro users probably, because they get real mad. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to that, but at the same time, I am looking forward to it, because it's going to be cool. Anyways, moving on along, Apple CarPlay. That's an interesting one. If you don't know me very well, I do actually have another channel about it, but I'm quite a big car guy, and I use CarPlay frequently in my Honda, and it is an aftermarket screen. It's a Sony head unit, and I'm curious to see how the Apple update will affect it, because they talked about how they're going to make like the call buttons more discreet and stuff like that, so it's not blocking the entire screen, which I'm a huge fan of if they can get to work. Not like my CarPlay calls work anyway, because CarPlay loves to just cut my calls off, which is a problem exclusive to my car, so I know it's not CarPlay itself, it's probably just the head unit or something, but I don't know. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the changes with CarPlay. Honestly, I wasn't paying too much of attention there, because I kind of was glossing over it because of the fact of CarPlay Ultra, which is going to be available in some Aston Martin models coming up, and that's a head scratcher, because why would you choose that company to start with? Anyway, that's a topic for the car channel. But CarPlay Ultra is going to integrate the dashboard finally, which is really cool. Love to hear that. And it's going to also integrate some car features into it as well, like radio, climate control, stuff like that. And that's going to be really cool to kind of experience, I think. Unless it doesn't work well, which the climate controls is always the key point for when it gets moved to a screen, people complain, because it's a really sensitive topic, putting climate controls on a screen. Me personally, I've used it on a screen, and I've used it on buttons. Once you get used to a car, you manage no matter what, as far as I know. But it doesn't really matter to me because I'm on the boat of climate control should be buttons. I think that's ideal. Um, but I could certainly get used to a screen too. CarPlay Ultra, I wonder how it's going to integrate. Obviously, I'm not going to own an Aston Martin or be going and finding a DBX anytime soon to review it. But, you know, I just can't believe they chose Aston Martin, honestly. That's a crazy company to choose because they are not doing well. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not going to find a DBX to review or anything like that anytime soon. However, they did say they're working with other car companies across the world to try and make this thing happen. So I'm curious to see how it looks. And I'm also very curious how it will work on the dashboard too, because I think that's going to be a really cool integration, honestly, because I know a lot of people have been kind of really hoping for that because a lot of cars, like I know my dad, he has an Audi that with the gauge cluster screen, and when you're using CarPlay, it actually will disable the map if you have directions put in on CarPlay completely. It'll just give you a compass on the gauge cluster screen, which is really annoying. So I have good hopes for that. And of course, like it'll show you music playing, stuff like that, along with giving you your gauges, which will be cool too. So yeah, I'm really excited for CarPlay, just in general, because I think it's going to be cool. And yeah, that'll be nice. And really the last thing I want to touch on is just, all the AI stuff, because obviously they're pushing AI into everything, like Workout Buddy and, what was it? Intelligent Action, stuff like that. Yeah, it's just your typical AI stuff into making integration with apps and stuff, like just making some apps work a lot better using AI and stuff like that. But I mean, honestly, I'm not too interested in that stuff because it just doesn't affect me, really. I just wanted to talk about the things that kind of matter to me today. So, yeah, there's that, but we can talk about it a little bit. I mean, Workout Buddy, that thing sounds cool, the way it talks to you, but I know people, and I know real life people, and no one is gonna treat that like an actual person. They won't. They're gonna be annoyed by it. They're gonna be like, "Oh, shut up," stuff like that. Because it's an AI, you always do that and stuff. And I mean, it's the same with it's just a regular notification because it's not actually someone personally telling you all these things. But I personally think it's a cool idea, despite me not working out or anything. But yeah, I do like the integration they are making, AI apps. Yeah, just kind of integrating AI into different apps. But at the same time, I don't really use that much AI stuff. In fact, I have I have Apple AI, whatever it's called. What is it called? Apple Intelligence. I have Apple Intelligence turned off on my phone just because I don't really use it. I have no problem typing. So, stuff like that. But, yeah, for people who care about AI, it's going to be very cool, actually. And honestly, as much as I don't use AI, I have been warming up to it recently because it could be cool. It could be cool, but I just don't really have a use for it right now. But it is cool, and maybe I'll get there one day. But anyways, guys, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, of course, I will see you guys next week. See ya!